Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25 with the Rude Man. We're back in Australia. Finally got a chance to sit down. It's been a wild morning. And I've been up fairly early. We've done some work on the map a little bit. I'll show you that in a second here. What in the world is that way over there? Hey, Scorp. Nutella Creek Farms. You know, that's what I was trying to say the other day, and I couldn't remember what it was called. Do you remember I said something about that peanut butter spread that's nuts or something? That's what I was talking about. I was trying to say that, the Nutella farm. Hey, are you looking at the picture I've got in front of me? Is that tree that's way up on top of that mountain over there, is that the one you were talking about yesterday? Or was it yesterday? Maybe it was the day before. Is that the one you were talking about? That lone tree? Isn't that amazing? The one tree shows up like that on that distance. It's just a one tree. I'm a little nervous about cutting it down. Why is it so special? Hazelnut spread. Is that what it is? That's the tree? You killed it? I'm a little leery about taking it out. It must be special. That might be God's tree. I might have to leave that alone. I'll tell you, we've got as you can tell, I'm freshly showered. So we do have hot water. That's the story. That's the story for the day. Oh man. What an experience. Okay, well, I was in the process of clearing these trees where I want to put that other big shop, but I want to show you something weird. I cut the trees down, but look what it did. It's left one up in the air. What's that all about? Isn't that weird? You killed the tree. You killed it. It's dead. I'm trying to think if I bought the quicker picker upper. Did I buy the quicker picker upper? I don't remember if I did. I think I did because I was pulling it with this Palau here. So I think I did. Hey Matt, how's it going? Oh shit, it just went right over the top of it. I forget they're on the wrong side of the road here, aren't they? I think out of Great Britain, there's only a couple countries that actually drive on the wrong side of the road. Australia and Great Britain. I think maybe Ireland. I know Scotland does. Yeah, Scotland, Great Britain, Australia, but most of the other countries, France and Germany, they all drive on the right side like they're supposed to. Matt says he's good today. Does that mean you get a Mountain Dew today? You've been good? Are you on Santa's list? I don't know if I'm on Santa's list or not. All right, so, there's the quicker picker upper, so I can drop the plow off. I don't need this plow, probably won't use it, but I'm going to keep it for the time being since I bought it. This is a little plow that I use for the delicate, intricate work when I'm creating fields. because it's so small. If I make a mistake, it's a small mistake. So I'm going to hang on to it because I still have more fields that I'm going to have to work on. But I need to get to work on that field. Like I was going to come in, Scorp, I was going to come in and work on that field and pick up some of the grass like you did. But I didn't have time. I've been busy all day. I got up at O'Dark 100 this morning and started working, making a clean path and moving things out of the garage and things so that the plumber didn't have to, because you got to pay them by the hour. I didn't want them standing around while I had to move a bunch of shit. So I've been busy. Everybody's mad at me because I was banging around out there, and what are you doing up so early? Get your asses out of bed and help me. You want hot water, don't you? You're too old for Santa. Listen, I'm 72 years old, and I'm not too old for Santa. I used to tell my kids when they would start asking questions like, Dad, is there really a Santa? They were telling us at school that there's no Santa. And I said, yeah, there's a Santa. Well, that doesn't make any sense because there's one over there at the Macy's store, and there's one over here, and there's one over there. And I said, but there is a real Santa. I said, you know how hard it would be for one Santa Claus to go to every country and give everybody presents and do all the stuff he has to do. Do you really think that he doesn't have helpers? I said, I have to tell you that I'm one of Santa's helpers. I said, besides that, he's a spirit, and he puts the spirit in you. Do you get excited for Christmas? Yes, I do. Do you like to see all the bright lights and the songs and the pumpkin pie and all that kind of stuff? Yes, I do. I said, that's Santa's spirit. So don't tell me there's not a Santa Claus, because I know there is. He just has lots of helpers. So anyway, there you go. There is a Santa. I don't care. That's what I believe, and I'm sticking with it. All right, Lori. Hey, how you doing? Lori's spreading magic around. Good job, Lori. Santa Claus lives in the North Pole. Well, I don't know about that. I think he's got a condo someplace, but I'm not quite sure where it's at. I've been busy. Let me show you. In real life and in the game, I am trying to expand here our little farm, but I decided not to have a lot of production like I normally do, so I don't have a sell point here. But Scorpions convinced me to put my corn dryer in. I wasn't going to put my corn dryer in here. I was going to put everything in that piece of land I bought over here as far as production goes. But I've changed my mind. I'm going to put most everything here. I'll put all the things that are making stuff over here. And I got to figure out why that one's got X's on. Why has that one got X's there? I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see what that one's all about. But since the last live stream 2 days ago, I put in my vodka, I put in my Jack Daniel's whiskey, and I put my brewery in. I dropped down and put an oil factory in. I put a flour factory in. I put the waffle and donut shop in. I put the freshly squeezed juice bar, and I put in the ice cream parlor. I still have yet to put in the restaurant. There's a Chinese restaurant, and there is a pizzeria. There's a pizzeria. So I'll probably put those in this empty spot right across here, across this way. I still have some more to put in. And then I'm just going to leave the production here over, the two orchards, so I can have some juice bar. This is a purchase point where I can buy stuff that I don't have. Like if I don't have any manure, I can buy it here. And then I've got my greenhouses that I'm putting in a line here. What I've decided to do is use the one that has the silo that goes down, up and down out of the ground. I'm doing good, Lori. Thanks. Donuts. Cream on donuts. Ice cream. Yeah, I had to deal with a lot of Santa mail. And there's a place called Vale where there's actually a place that they mail Santa Claus letters to. And we have to deal with that. What I think I'm going to do is use that one that goes up and down. Now, the reason all the other greenhouses, they just have one thing and they have one row that they pop out. But if you remember, that one that had the silo that went up and down out of the ground, it has two layers. There's 2 stories of whatever you want to grow. And then there's bees on top. So in one location, you get all of that. So that way, that'll double up. That's going to double up. Instead of putting 2 down, I can put 1 down. And so I can put 2 of those in, which is the equivalent of 4 of the other ones. And I've got one of this one right here that is extra big, and it does quite a bit of stuff. Then that will leave me room for the mushroom one, because I want to put a mushroom one if I'm going to put a pizzeria in. Well, I was running out of room. So if I put 4 more of these greenhouses in, that almost took all my room. Where am I going to put the mushroom one? So if I put the mushroom one in, and then 2 of those other ones instead of 4 of the original ones, I think I'm going to be better off. So that's what I'm going to do. Double my pleasure, double my fun. I can't remember. That was some kind of Wrigley's gum or something. So that's there. That's that. Now, I did put a sell point right here. This is the sell point that sells everything. Why did I do that? Because the only... this is a food mart. It's a grocery store, and it does have a sell point. But it doesn't do everything. It does almost everything. So I want one that did everything, and I thought, well, if I put it here, then it's in line with the other one. So I can use either one of these if I want. Okay, so there you go. If you remember, just before I left, I realized that I bought one of the bigger fields and didn't know it. Let me show you what that is. So I own these 2 fields right here, and I'm still just trying to decide if I want to plow them together and make one. I might leave them at 2 because I kind of do like a couple of small fields for potatoes and sugar beets because they're a pain in the butt. Who wants to do a huge field of potatoes? Well, somebody might, but not me. So I got these 2. I've got this baseball diamond, and then I've got this one, and that was the one I thought was my biggest field. It is not. I owned this property over here, and if you remember, that big field right there was all trees and bushes and all kinds of crap-a-doodle-doo. Squirp, how many hours did we work on that to get it cleared? What I did was, you'll see the dirt right here. I took the smallest plow I could find, put it on the biggest tractor I could find, and I just went completely around the area that constitutes this property that I own. When I got to this end, I kind of decided that maybe I'd leave a bank of trees, just because it's a big enough field. If I used that rest of that, it isn't going to add that much to that big field. So I decided to leave that batch of trees. So I went across this way, and then I just followed the line. This is the property line right here, this dirt road. And I just followed it all around. The only other thing, there's a pond right here. Scorpion took the trees out. I left them in. Don't know why. And then I ended up right back over in that corner where I started. Now, 2 good things. One, I got all that work done. It took us forever. It took us hours. It was hours. And then there's no collision on the power lines. Yay! I like that. So you can plant and sow and harvest to your heart's content and not run into a pole. So there you go. I did then decide that that I would then mow it for grass. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you when I'm done how much grass I got off there. Scorpion, would you please type in the amount that you got? And I'm going to see if I get the same amount, or at least close to it. But that's a lot of grass. And then I have to finish plowing it. So, but look at the size of that field. It's just humongous. Oh, I'm excited. So anyway, I did mention I'm going to clear this spot right here and put my corn dryer in there. Now, why? Because Scorpion did. No. Here's the funny part. When we compared our farms, I put the same silo in the exact same place that Scorpion did. That silo right there. I mean, it's exact. You know, we put them in the exact same place. The reason why he convinced me to put my corn dryer there is because the corn dryer is for production, but it's still a crop that I'm going to have from my farm, and it's probably going to be the bigger field because I like corn. And I do the corn for a cash crop. So why not have it right there at my farm? So that's what I decided to do. If it's production that I'm not going to be paying attention to every day, I'll put it with the other production. But the other one I'm going to put here. I got to get rid of this tree though. Look, I cleared this area out because I took that big barn out that was here. Well, it was just a shed. I took it out. I want to put one in that I want. But I cleared all the trees out, and I looked up. I was right here, and I was done cleaning up the last tree, and I saw that shadow spot over there. What the hell? What is this? And I looked up. It's a tree. I'm hoping I can get it. Let's see. Hey, it worked. Sweet. All right. We can go fishing in the little pond. Everyone's growing grass. Well, in that case, the grass was already there because this is what it looked like when I was done taking all the trees out. This is what that huge field looked like, just like this. And all this stuff mows down, so that's what I decided. That we just look how dirty that sucker is. Where is it? Why does this get so much dirtier than everything else? Anyway, this will take everything down, including the bushes. But that's what that big field looked like right there. Golf course. There you go. That's what we should have. Why can't we if we can friggin' go fishing, why can't we go golfing? Know what I mean? Now, the only reason I'm mowing this is I want to get rid of the bushes because those green bushes look like trees. Because when I lay my shop down, I don't want trees growing up through the floor of my shop. So I'm going to mow it here. God dang it. So we were, as we were dinking around with this map, Scorpion, from this distance, look at that mountain straight ahead of me. See that tree all by itself? Why can we see that tree? How is it that we can see that tree? And we were clear over in that great big field when Scorpion said, "Hey, Rudy, see that tree that's in front of your tractor?" I said, "What? The one that's all the way over there?" And he said, "Yeah." Why is that one the only one we can see? So he went up there and killed it. He killed it. I went up there and said, "That's God's tree. If you can see it from here, I mean, watch what happens. Look at all the stuff that's coming in that you can see, all the trees, every single one of them. Why is it we can see that one from that distance? Why? That's crazy. That's God's tree. I'm going to leave it. I ain't taking no chances. I ain't taking no chances." One more thing before I go to work. One more thing before I go to work. As we were working on this one, I was plowing this one up, and when I drove by this piece of property right here, Scorpion had some kind of light go off. I don't either that or it was epilepsy. He went into a fit, screaming about this little farm right here. How perfect this is going to be, because he's decided that he wants to do a cattle farm map. He wants it to be an animal map and not necessarily complete crop. And that is a perfect little area to put in. Maybe not. It's already got a house there. It's a perfect place. Just take those things out, and create a cattle ranch, a big cattle ranch here. So you could have a dairy if you want to mess with milk. You could have a dairy, and then you can just have range cattle right in here, and it's already got its own little farm. Perfect place for it. I mean, you wouldn't want a field like this for cattle. Can you imagine? You couldn't stand the smell. It'd be so bad. Believe it or not, in the Yakima Valley where I'm from, there is a cattle ranch that's about this big, and you can smell that cattle ranch for 100 miles away. I mean, it's just unbelievable. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at one of my flights that I took in my home valley, I might even have called it that. I can't remember, but I flew over that ranch. It's huge. It's a big one. Cowboy in him. Scorpion. I can't think of him as a cowboy. He's not even Texan. He's an Oregonian. No, his folks were. All right. His folks were Oregonians. I did get my fields all planted. All right, let's drop that, twine it on. Yeah, so the first thing I did was take that plow like I was saying, and I just ran it. I didn't even, it's not a field, so you can't go straight. You'll notice it curves a little bit, my plow spot. All I tried to do was stay in equal distance to that road. I didn't have any, there's no GPS, so I didn't have a GPS to use. I had to do it by eyeball, and which is why I used that very, very small plow. If you make a mistake with that plow, it's only a small mistake. If I put that huge frickin' plow that I normally use on, and I made a 2-inch error, it'd be 50 yards wide. So I used a very small one. I always use that very small one when I'm sculpting fields and stuff, like I have to do in a no man's land kind of a farm. I'm a first-gen Texan. My mom was from Oregon, and my dad was from California. Demolition ranch. There you go. Cattle rancher in her previous life. I don't necessarily believe in reincarnation. I'm open-minded. Prove me wrong. I don't know. But I don't really believe in it. I do have questions about it though, and my questions involve personal things that I've had in my life. For example, there are certain, well, God, I'm going to get into real deep trouble here. There's certain races of people that I'm extra excited about, and then there's races of people that I don't think much of at all. Now, I'm not well traveled. I've the only time I've ever left the country was driving into Canada, and that's not really traveling into a foreign country. They're more foreign now than they used to be. But my meaning is not necessarily that I'm prejudiced or racist or biased, but it's kind of like people that just love cats for no reason, and other people that just hate cats for no reason. What is it that you don't like about cats? Well, maybe you had trouble with cats in a previous life. Okay, so maybe in a previous life, I was someplace in the world that I had trouble, that I didn't have a good life. And so in this life, for some reason, you say something about something I know nothing about, or people I know nothing about, and I say, no, I don't like that. All right. Why? What reason? Like Scottish people. Why do I like Scottish people so much? I have no clue. Was I Scottish in another life? I mean, there are certain things that you are drawn to, let's say. And my question is why? If there's reincarnation, that might answer a lot of questions, is what I'm trying to say. Do I believe in reincarnation? No, not really. But I don't know. I'm open-minded, I'd be willing to think about it, but it sure answers a lot of questions, about people liking certain things or disliking certain things when they have no experience with it and no reason to. Anyway, I don't know. Dirty litter boxes, there you go. Carol gets so upset because I haven't done it, that she has to clean the cat's box out every day because the kids won't do it. She doesn't feed the cat. They come down and play with the cat. Oh, crap. I got stumps to take care of. They'll come down, play with the cat, love the cat up, and then turn around and walk away. So 5 minutes a day they spend with the cat. Carol and I are with the cat all day damn long. That cat will come in when I'm just dinking around on the computer and lay in my lap and sleep for hours on end. And if I'm playing a game, that's one thing, because most of the games I play with a controller. I can use the controller with the cat in my lap and not have to do much. But if I'm working on the keyboard, I got to lean over and type and move around and grab the mouse. So I have to use this stupid pencil and reach over to push buttons so I don't move and wake the cat up. Pain in the butt. Stupid cat. Scorp, did you type in how many liters of grass you got? I missed it if you did. You don't have to do it again. I'm just wondering. I don't know if I can get 2 of these. Not quite. Well, you can if you don't mess up. But I'm going to mess up. Oh man, that's too big of trouble. If I goof up anyway, I'm going to miss it. You know what? They might have, that Colossus might have one that's wider. I'm using the midnight one. What is this? Oh, let's see if Colossus has one. Forage wagon. They do. How wide is it? Super collect. Unrealistic. It's up to 50 meters. What's this one? It's only up to 20. All right. We can do it. Let's do it. Working width. 50 meters. Is that the big one? Yeah, that's the big one. 50 meters. I don't care about tires. Wheel setup, don't care. Working speed, I want it to go 100 miles an hour. Are you kidding? It does 100 miles an hour? And that's standard? You're joking. I don't believe it. Unrealistic crop guides. Yeah, I'm not going to use those. Design, no. U.S., got to have U.S. Brand, okay. Cover, don't care. Capacitor, 5 million. Main color, don't care. Okay. Oh, this is going to be jolly great. Hey, Ben Bana, how you doing? All right, what am I? Where's my farm? I lost my farm. Is that it? That way. Playing some FM 25 or Farm Sim 25 FS. Yeah, aren't we all? No. Cats is nice. Kids come and tell me a kitten died. That's a good cat, man. How do you know? You never played with it. No. It wasn't good when it was alive. They'd get mad at me and yell and scream. You're so bad. That's right. Don't you forget it. $13.5 million. Oh, I need to put a counter up, don't I? All right, let's. I got to work on that. Let's just drop this off. Grab that and let's see if it really goes 100 miles an hour. It can't go any faster than the tractor, can it? Where's my field at? Is that my field that way? Why do you put this tree right here? Oh, come on. You put it that way on purpose. Just so I'd hit it. That's crummy. That ain't right. Cats are evil. I like that cat that was in the Discord. Who put that cat in the Discord that had the vampire cape on it? That was funny. I like that. Made me laugh. All right, see what happens here. We're gonna drop it like it's hot. Turn it on, and let's see. Well, without the guide, I won't know how far it goes. Well, it got it, by golly. It's not going no 100 miles an hour. Whoa, is this what you used, Scorpion? Or did you use that other one and take you 10 hours? 81. That must be the limit for the tractor. Oh, I love this. This is great. This is great. Man, I couldn't slow down. Digital display up too high. Need to lower it. I did that in the last one, if you remember. I kept getting a cranked neck. Is that a word? A kinked neck? Did I say crink? I said crink. I got a kinked neck looking up at this stupid thing. Who was it told me there wasn't a Santa Claus? Was that Matt? See, you can't tell me those kind of things because anybody else would have said, "Yeah, you're right." No, you're not. You're just, I don't know. I won't say evil. Man, somebody that can't believe in Santa Claus, there's something wrong. I suppose next you're going to say there's no Easter bunny. I, I, I got in trouble one year when my brother's kids, they lived out on a farm. And I would come over all the time and visit. And I came over, it was Easter morning. They were in having breakfast, getting ready to go out and do an Easter hunt, Easter egg hunt on the farm. I reached in the glovey and grabbed my handgun. And right in front of the house, I went bang, bang, bang with my handgun. I come bursting in the house saying, "Oh my God, there was this huge rabbit out there just throwing trash around everywhere. All these little colored eggs or something." Don't worry, I didn't miss. I got him. And the kids were all crying. It's funny. My brother's about shit his pants. I shot the Uncle Rudy shot the Easter bunny. I sure did. I'm gonna go out and collect his eggs now. The ones that didn't break. And before you get too concerned about me shooting the gun off, it was only a 22. It was louder than hell, but it was a Western style 22 that I kept snake load in for when I was out on cattle drives and stuff. We used to do cattle drives on horseback, and I packed a 6-shooter with snake load. Well, if you don't know what snake load is, it's a 22 shell that has little BBs in it like a shotgun shell, and you use it for snakes. You don't want to miss a snake. And unless you're a very good shot, it's hard to shoot a snake. So we all carried snake load because that's about the only thing we were going to kill. We were going to duel each other. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is me shooting that gun off wasn't dangerous. It was not dangerous. It's just little pellets. And like I said, I was on a farm. There's a hay bale there, and I just shot in the hay bale. So don't get concerned. I wasn't causing any kind of trouble. Nobody was going to get hurt, including me. Oh, and don't do that at home. I'm a professional. Okay, I missed a little bit back there. I thought this thing was 50 meters. What the hell? How did it miss that? I wasn't that far off. Was I? Was I that far off? I don't think so. All right, let's line this thing up again. I got so much work to do, and I'm stuck doing this. Thought snakes didn't bother with horses? Well, I don't care about the horse. They'll come and snuggle up with you at night in your sleeping bag. We didn't carry tents. We just had bedrolls, and we were sleeping right there in the sagebrush, where they live. And they're cold-blooded. They may come up and want some warmth. So yeah, we just hobbled the horses. You could leave them on a string line, but then they can't reach anything, so we used hobbles instead. They could still walk around, but they could walk around and eat. Look how much I've got done in just a short period of time. I'm sure glad I thought about this. Colossal. Colossus? Sounds like colostrum. Snakes in a good shovel? Yeah. You want a spade. And then sharpen the damn thing so you can cut their heads off. I'd have a sharpened spade. Whoa, whoa. Holy smokes. Slow down. Slow down. You're going too fast. You got to make the morning last. Kicking down the cobblestones. I can't remember the words to songs. I would be a terrible, terrible singer. I can't remember any of the words to song. Even songs I've heard thousands of times, I don't remember the words. What's that noise? What the hell's that noise? Is that in my game? What is that? No, it went away. I don't know what that is. 40 deet? What's a 40 deet? 40 deet. I don't like snakes. I don't either. Craig does, but he said his snake died, didn't he? Last time we saw Craig, didn't he say his snake was gone? Maybe he got hungry and had to eat it. There's just something about snakes, and it really, when I say I dislike snakes, that I'm afraid of them, I'm scared of them. I'm not necessarily scared of their bite, even though that's the thing to be scared about. I just don't like the way they move. They're just slithery and snaky, and their tongues are licking out, and it's just gross watching them move. You know, and they're really fast. See if you can find this on the internet. There is a video of a girl sitting like she's in a picnic spot, and the land is all grass, and it's mowed to the river or lake where she's sitting. Now, It's not. She's not sitting right on the bank. She's sitting up off the bank, maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 yards. When she's sitting there, like having a picnic by herself, got a pair of shorts on, summertime, and she's got her legs crossed, and she's just sitting out in the sun, enjoying the day. And you can see it. If you, all of a sudden, you can see it because it's all just grass, mowed down grass. And you can see something doing this, coming right straight for her. And it's you don't know exactly what it is until it's almost on her. Then you see it's a cobra. It's a friggin' cobra. And it gets right up to her, and she just goes like that and snatches it in the air. It's just unbelievable video. It's just, oh God, just scared the hell out of me. I had nightmares over that. It's almost like she didn't see it till the last minute and then just reached up and had it around the neck. Man, they're creepy. I don't like them. I don't like people, but I don't like snakes more. Well, it's a toss-up. People, snakes, about the same, I guess. The only difference is most people don't bite you. Other than that, they're both creepy and dangerous. I know Scorp's going to get more grass than I am because he's in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Like, in most places, if you say a woman has a big butt, you have to prove it in a court of law. Not in Texas. Their butts are always bigger. Snakes are ugly. Maybe, I don't know. What's pretty and ugly? I don't know. I have no experience with that. I don't even like the way I look. Never did. Don't like the way I sound. Don't like anything about me. Sucks to be me. Oh, I didn't tell my story. I got up at Dark 100 today because we had the plumber coming. I called, our hot water went out 2 days ago. And I told Carol, I said, we're going to have to hire a plumber. I don't want to mess with it because, I'm pretty good at plumbing and stuff like that. I don't want to do stuff like that anymore. I can't think straight. I don't know if I'll do something wrong. I don't know. Well, and especially in this, I installed this hot water tank that we're using myself. But there was a problem with it a few years ago where the hot water stopped. But the power was still on. There was no problem with that. And I just didn't want to mess with it. I told Carol, said, I'll go look and see if I can find some elements and, I'll look at it. And then I said, hell with it. And I just called a plumber. And the plumber came and he put new elements in it, but he couldn't get them wired in. One of them he couldn't get wired in because the wire wasn't long enough. and so he was just with a pair of channel locks was just pulling on this wire, pulling on it. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to stretch this wire and make it fit. And he did. I don't think that was good for it. If you're short on a wire, it's best to just, put another one in and make it long enough. He didn't want to do that, so he's tried to stretch the damn thing. Well, he got it to work. That's his job, so I didn't say too much. But I'm glad I didn't do it. When I thought about that, it's the same hot water tank, and I said, well, I don't want to mess with that. I'll pay somebody to mess with that. I'm not messing with it. So I called a plumber. Now, there's a job in itself I went through the yellow pages and I called 5 plumbers. I got one answer, and it was a machine. 3 or 4 of the plumbers, or 2 or 3 of them, said this person has no room left on their mail slot, so he couldn't leave a message. And it just rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. Nobody answered. The plumber that we used before, I called him, numbers out of service. So I went to the computer and I typed in, emergency plumbers in the area. And the plumber I used before, his number's listed, but it isn't the one I have. So I called it, and it gave me the same one as the rest of them. Mailbox full, can't leave a message, blah, blah, blah. And nobody answered. So finally, I dial a number, and I get an answering machine. And they say, we're not at the phone right at the moment, or we're busy with another call. Please leave a message. We'll get back to you. And I said, okay, that's what the machine says. We'll see if they actually do that. And about maybe a half hour later, I got a phone call. And for one thing, I called just as they were opening up. Well, that's probably not the best time to call, I suppose. But you do want to get your call in early, I suppose, so that you're not behind on the list. Anyway, she said, okay, I don't have anything available today. How about tomorrow? And I'm thinking, are you kidding? I was expecting next week or maybe 2 weeks from now. Tomorrow's great. And she said, okay, we'll be there shortly after 9. And I said, okay, great. So, and they were there shortly after 9, about a few minutes after 9. Guy pulls up. Turns out that the reason, and I told him, I said, I don't know what's going on, because it keeps kicking the electric breaker off, and I don't know what that's all about. And so he said, okay, well, we'll look at it, don't worry. And I said, okay. And he gets to working on it, and he says, oh God. And I said, what? And he said, come here. He says, look at that, the top of the water heater. And I did, and it's all wet and rusty. And he said, somehow this thing's leaking up on the top. He said, my first guess would be that it's been getting too hot, because the water expands. That's why this little valve is up here on top. You see this little valve? He said, that's a pressure valve. And then there's a copper tube that goes all the way down to the ground into a bucket. And it's a drainage system that if it gets too hot, it pops that valve and releases the pressure. And he said, obviously this thing's been getting too hot, and it hasn't been able to keep it all, from leaking. And it's leaked on the top of the water heater, and it's all rusty. And I said, that's not good. He said, no, that's not good. And he said, okay, let me get back to it. And I did. And he says, oh God, it's getting worse. I said, what's the matter? He says, okay, this part over here, this is where all the electronics is. This is where the electricity goes in to heat, the water. He says, look, it's full of water, and look at the wires. The wires are not only rusty, one of them isn't even hooked to anything, and the other one is so rusty that it's barely attached to the other wire. And he said, that's what's happening. It's sparking on you. You're lucky this didn't cause a house fire. And so, anyway, I didn't get as much as Scorpion did. What did I get? A little shy of 5 million. What did you get, Scorpion? 1, 2, 3. I don't know what the hell I got. How much is that? Let's see. There's 2,000, 80,000, 500,000, 49 million. I got 49 million. What did you get? 13? Something's wrong, buddy. And I've already put some in the bin. I did. put some in the bin. What's going on? Am I just living right or what? Thomas is here. Hey, Thomas. Had to do when the new hot water heater was installed to bring it up to current code. I never would have known about. Yeah, there's different codes now. My old hot water tank was 55 gallons, I think. And they said, we're sorry. I said, do you have a hot? Oh, anyway, he said, yeah. He said this. I wouldn't mess with this hot water tank. There's too much wrong with it, and it's too old anyway. And I said, no problem. I expected that because I knew it'd been, already worked on once before. I said, have you got one? He said, yeah, I brought one with me. I said, okay. Is it big enough? And he said, it's only 50 gallons. And I said, how much? And mine was what? And he said, yours is 55. But he says, look, by law, by Oregon law, we cannot put one in bigger than 50 now. And I said, oh, that figures. I'm not surprised. Oregon, their frickin' laws. So he said, but it's okay. That'll be enough. He said the technology's a little better. It'll heat faster. And he said, one of the other problems you had, this thing's set too high. He said, this thing's set for 165 degree water. That's way too high. He said, they used to do that, 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. They used to do that. They used to put a hot water tank in and just crank it up. That ain't good, he said. And over that many years, that's not good. He said, I wouldn't mess with this tank. And that's fine. I anticipated that. So the new one's kind of cool because it's got electronics on it that you can adjust the temperature right on the side of the thing. The old one, you had to take the cover off of each element. There's two elements. There's a top element and a bottom element that heat the water. You have to take the cover off, then you have to take the insulation out. Then there's electronics in there. Not electronics, there's wiring and stuff in there. And there's a little thermostat. And you have to put a screwdriver in it and turn it. And by golly, how hot you're making it. And they were all the way over. So he said, yeah, this was bad. This whole situation was bad. Okay. And so they put the new one in. And I'm a happy camper. I got the first shower because everybody left for the day, so I took a shower just before the live stream. By the way, I didn't know anything about it. If somebody told me your hot water tank is 160, I wouldn't know what that meant. Is that low, medium, high? What is that? What? I didn't know. So what he told me was, he said average is 125. He says, as a matter of fact, by law, I can't set it any higher than 125. If you want to crank it up, that's up to you. But by law, I can't set it for anything higher than 125 degrees. So my hot tub is 100. I keep it 105. So I told him, I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it the way you said it, and we'll take a few showers, and if it's fine, it's fine. If it's not, I might crank it up to 130. But I said, there's other ways of adjusting heat, and that is, if it's not hot enough to your taste, turn the cold down. Because 125 will scald the hell out of you, in my opinion. Anyway, there you go. I got a new hot water tank. Woohoo! It only cost me $1,800. I thought that was pretty cheap. All right, let me put. I think I put the thingamabobberdoodles in. Let's see. Do I have? Is it there? No. Is it there? No. Is it there? I don't know. No. Where is it? tools. I want the big one. Where's the big one? Is this the big one? 52 lines, that's good. I will do that. Do that. Oh, to do that day. Where'd you put your Scorp? In the middle? To the right? To the left? About there? About there? I think I'll just put it in the middle. Is that too high? Look at that grass go. It's going to take a while. I got to take a break. I'll just leave it go. I'm going to clear this out. We're going to put a corn dryer in here. So let's do that. I can do that. I can do that. Better than you. You put yours to the left? I normally do because that's where I come in. That's usually where I drive in, and I can see it when I'm driving in, but I decided to do something different today. Okay, what the hell? Why are these two trees so close together? Are they married? Oh my God, is Matt here? Because I didn't get soup du jour again. Matt, here he is. He did. Thanks, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Matt's doing his job. Oh, by the way, it was Taco Thursday. So I had Taco Wednesday and Taco Thursday. I was going to switch it up and do something else, but the kids were going to Taco Bell, so I said, okay, fine, I'll just do Taco Bell. And stuff doodle-doo. So that's what I done. That's what I did. Should I keep this one or keep this one? Somebody tell me in the comments, which one should I keep? This one, the red one, or the blue one? Which one should I keep? Because I don't need two of them. All right. Hang on, I gotta make Matt happy. There we go, Matt. That's what I'm gonna do, something sparkly. And no big surprise. As soon as I said it was Taco Thursday, there's no surprise. Matt says keep the blue one. Keep the big nasty one, Scorpion says. Ah! I hit my whatcha-dinger. That didn't sound good. My whatcha-dinger's too big, getting away. Oh, God, this is heavy. Look how big that is. So look what I get. When I buy my sodas, it goes all the way to the top. If I buy their soda and they put ice in it, and I scoop the ice out. I got this little thing that scoop the ice out. It's a sieve. Is that what they call them nowadays? That's what they used to call them. I don't know what they call them today. But once you get the ice out, you only have about this much gone. There's about this much gone that the ice takes the volume. So you're not getting your bang for your buck. I buy mine and I put them in the fridge right next to the freezer compartment, so they're good and cold. I was wondering when my ass was getting cold. I left the door of the fridge open. My old butt's getting colder. Not enough hair. I'm gonna get arrested for indecent whatever. All right, here goes. Oh, that's good. And it's cold. Now I have brain freeze. We'll do a little kitty dance and then get on with it. Get on. Get it on. The song was different. I think the song was "Let's Get It On." That just sounds nasty, so I don't say it that way. What was I doing? Oh, I was waiting for the grass. I'm waiting for the grass to finish up unloading. I've already got 3 million. So I need 10 million more to match what Scorpion had. And I need to pick up this grass before... Well, I don't know what to do. What should I do? Let me see if I can hitch that. Can I hitch that up to this? I can. All right, let's lower that, turn that on, turn that on, turn that on. Oh, sorry. You guys should have did the save. Why is there grass coming through the cement? That's crazy. Kill a cat. Definitely need to speed up the dumping on that thing. Yeah. I had something strange I was going to tell you, Scorp, on a mod. I'm trying to think which one it was. I don't remember. There was something I found on a mod that was modded wrong. It was one of these pieces of equipment. I don't remember which one, but it's one of them where you can choose standard or extended. Okay, and the standard was 100,000, and the extended was 1 million on this piece of equipment. And I started using it, and you can select it when you buy it. Do you want the extension or not? And I said, I want the extension. And so I started using the piece of equipment, and I only got 100,000, and I had to empty it. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I remember buying the extension. And so I thought, well, maybe I didn't. I thought I did. Maybe I just thought I did, and I actually didn't. So I pulled up my repair truck, and I pulled the piece of equipment on the repair truck, and I went to customize, And I selected the extension, and nothing happened. And I thought, okay, why won't it select the extension? And so I sold the piece of equipment, bought it new again, and made sure, for certain sure, that I selected extension, and I tested it, and it only gave me 100,000. Okay, well, that's why it wouldn't let me change it on the repair truck, because it wasn't nothing to change. I already had it set on extension. So I went back into the mod. I pulled the mod out. I squished it, whatever they do. I unzipped it, and I looked at it, and it showed standard 100,000. Then it showed extension 100,000. What? I don't know how it got that way, because I know I didn't do it. So I set it to 1 million, brought it back out, and it worked just fine. It was just weird. Weird. Can't remember which one it was. I think it was, well, I don't remember. It was one of these wagons that I was using. It's a silliness. All right, anyway. What was I going to do now? I was going to put in my factory. Corn dryer. What was the difference? What's the difference? This one's 100,000. Oh, that's what it is. This one takes corn and gas. This one, I don't know what it takes. It takes... This is crazy. Look at all that crap. What is this? What am I missing? What did I miss? Oh, Andy on the bridge. Did you jump, Andy? I don't understand this one. This is in and out. Why would it take that many things in? So I'm going with that one. I don't know what the hell's up with that other one. I don't even know where it came from. I'm just going to do it at this angle here, I guess. And call it good on me. Uh-oh. Am I broke? Shop area is restricted. Why? Why was that restricted? I don't understand that. That's crazy. Why would it let me put it there but not... Oh, wait. Why can't I put it there? Why... That's What? That's silly. I'm just going to put it there. That was crazy. I don't understand that. Like and subscribe. Cinnamon. Who's had cinnamon rolls? Big Mac's in the house. Hey, Big. Mr. Mac. You were pushed. Somebody pushed Andy off the bridge. It was Scorpion. He finally made it to the bridge instead of jumping over it and hit you. All right, what's the deal with the cinnamon rolls? Are you saying that you have one, Scorpion? And you didn't bring enough to share? That's nasty, doing stuff like that. All right, I'm gonna put this big shed in that I want. I want this one here, if I can fit it in here. I gotta remember which way. Okay, that's the front. What was that? This is the front, so I want to switch it around. And do I want to put it in this way? I don't know. Do I want to put it this way or put it in this way? I guess it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. There's enough room to do it either way. Okay, there's enough room to do it either way. There's no doors on this side, but there's doors in the front and doors on all along that other side over there. So I think this will be okay. I think it'll be okay if I just do this. Why would you want to share? I don't know. More for me. Chris already stole one. You let him get away with stealing? That's not right. Wifey had them, put butter on it, and Mikey aved it. All right, I'm just going to put it this way, I think. Did that take all my money? Oh my God, I'm broke. Okay, yeah, see, there's a door on this side that you can get in, and there's doors on the front here, but I don't think there's any on the side. None on the side, but that's okay. This is a big one, and there's a door on this side, so you can drive through it, which is what I want. Maybe. Well, maybe not. What the hell? How do you get in it? Let me in. Cinnamon, let me in. Why? Okay, that worked. Is there a button I have to push someplace? There's electricity all along the wall. What's this over here? Well, that's obvious right there. It says power lift. That's obvious. How do you open this one? I don't. Oh, there's a power lift on the other end. But I don't see. Do you have to reach clear up? What? No switch by the door? There is. There's the switch by the door. Okay. Okay, Jose. All right. Sweet. Sweet. We got it. Is he done yet? Is he finally done? I only got 5 million. I don't know how you got so much. Did you cheat? You must have cheated. I only got 5 million. Huh. The combine drives through it. Giant Smart Hub has auto open for doors now. Auto? What's that mean? I saw one where you could drive up to it. Is that what you're talking about? I don't remember what they called it, but I saw one that you could drive up to it and it would open. I'm not that lazy. I just leave it open. All right, let's get rid of this grass, then we can sell the other quicker picker upper. It's the old quicker picker upper that make me this way. Let's go to the garage. Go to the forage wagons and get rid of midnight. That'll give me a little bit of my money back. And we got a little bit of corn. So let's grab our little bit of corn and put it in the little bitty dryer. I'm hearing something. Like a TV show or something. Where's that coming from? There's nothing running in my office. And there's nobody home but me. And I'm a little nervous. Carol went to lunch with her friends and took my Miata. And I don't know why. Why'd you take my Miata? Not that I mind. It needs to be driven. Wait a minute. The last time oh, never mind. There it is. Why couldn't I see that? Now it's there. I couldn't see the fence around the gas tank in front of me, or wherever. I couldn't see that. Why couldn't I see that? Now I can. Oh my God, I'm going blind. Selective seeing now. I'm only seeing what somebody that I can't see wants me to see. All right, while we're waiting for that to fill, which isn't going to take very long, I need to find my tanker. It was the tanker. Scorpion, it was the tanker that I was talking about. It only held 100,000 and not 100,000 standard and a million. And when I went to look at the mod, it was mess up. And I normally don't use this one. This one, this is the tanker that's with the corn dryer. This is the corn dryer one. I usually use my own tanker because I have one specially modded to do everything that I want it to do. Okay, let's see. And I used this one this time instead of mine, mainly because I couldn't find mine. I moved my complete mod list of everything I've ever done into a different drive on a different computer, and I didn't feel like running over there and looking it up. So, what am I doing? Propane. 2 million. Oh, right. When I went in and remodded it, instead of changing it to 1 million, I changed it to 2 million. So sue me. Know what I mean? Propane is not accepted here. That's bullshit. Of course it is. It took 3%. That's terrible. Okay, fine. Fine, crybaby. I think I'm hearing things. I am hearing something, like a cartoon running or something. I don't know where it's coming from because I don't have anything else running. I do have the window open and the grade school's playing something. Maybe that's what it is. Damn mic is too sensitive. Good thing I haven't had any beans lately. I'm thinking about buy a 16-ton HDD. A 16 terabyte? I thought you were talking farm equipment, and I thought 16 tons. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Yeah, no, it's 16 terabyte. What are you going to do with that much? To replace your clicky drive? Oh, if you got a clicky drive, I'll be changing that right away. With anything. Those clicky drives scared the hell out of me. One of my old teachers that I talk to all the time. I keep saying that. She's only a year older than my wife. She started teaching the year that I graduated from high school. So I only had her for 1 year. But anyway, she told me here not too long ago, I talked to her all the time. And she said that her knee's starting to click. What? That's not good. Yeah, she said. All right, let's activate that. Can we activate it? Can we? Can we? Corn dryer. We want to do the productivity. Let's make that 300. Okay. 1,000 of corn and 50 X of propane and 1,000 of dried corn. Well, that's good. At least if you put 1,000 corn in, you got 1,000 corn out. That's good. We'll go with that. All right. You know what I'm doing, don't you? I'm putting off plowing that field. Man, that's bright. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it on purpose, putting it off. I wonder, well, all right, let's grab a plow. I'm so blue. I'm not blue at all. If my face looks greasy, I took a shower, I told you, just before I started the stream, and I just trimmed my beard, and so I'm trying to put moisture back in it. So I'm using beard oil, and it looks kind of shiny, I see. Because I just put it and just wiped my whole face with it, so it's up in here too. It's all, but it's sandalwood. It smells good. Oh, it smells like sandalwood. How am I supposed to get around this stupid thing? Can I get over? I don't know. I made it. Okay, here's the thing. I think what I did is like I told you before. I just took that small plow and went clear around the whole field to put a boundary on where I want my field to be. I think until I plow the whole field, it doesn't consider it a field. I'm thinking. So that one boundary there does not make the field. I'm thinking. That means that I'm going to have to plow this thing manually. And that's going to be a bitch. Plus the fact that you can't just set it to plow. You have to set it to make a field. I don't think hired workers can do that. So I think I'm going to have to do this manually. Pretty sure. We'll find out here in a second, but I'm pretty sure. Because it's going to tell me that it doesn't find a field. I bet you. I bet you dimes to donuts. I bet you dimes to that cinnamon roll that Scorpion just snarfed up. Okay, if I hire, see, look. Hamish doesn't want to do it. Lori doesn't want to do it. Scorpion don't want to do it. Miss Nelson don't want to do it. Elsa won't do it. Elsa won't do it again. I'm begging Elsa, and she still won't do it. Lori won't do it. Frank won't do it. I don't even want to do it. All right, I have to set this to, I have to hit the Y button to set it to create a field. And then, I guess there's no other way. I got to do it. It's going to be a lot of work. You snarfed up 2 of them? Did they not have any frosting on them, or are they just a cinnamon roll? No frosting. You got yours done already? I wonder why you got so much grass, so much more grass than I got. I got a pretty good idea. Did you start your game at normal or hard? Or did you start it at easy? Easy, normal, or hard? That might make a difference. They had frosting and melted butter on them. Okay. That's good then. Everything's better with butter. Depending on how you choose your farm when you start it, if you start easy, normal, or hard, that determines your yield and your prices and all kinds of different things. Yeah, that's probably it then, Scorp. You set it at easy, because that does set your yields higher and your prices higher. Hey, there's a FedEx truck. He ain't stopped at my house though. Maybe he's got a new hot water tank for me. So the plumber told me when I told him that I was surprised to even get a plumber on the phone. He said, "Yeah, I know what you're saying." He said, "We're down 2 plumbers right now," and he said, "I've got to go out for knee surgery and I'll be out for a couple months, so we're going to be short 3 plumbers." And he said, "I know several of the other places are all short on plumbers. So we can't find plumbers." And he said, plumbers, I don't know if this is everywhere, but plumbers here, they have a pretty good plumbers union, and they have a plumber's apprentice program. So if you're a licensed plumber, you can hire apprentices, and you know, you can hire them at a lesser wage because they don't know what the hell they're doing, but at least they do get paid. But if you're a licensed plumber, you can hire, you can take on apprentices, and you're teaching them plumbing. And so all they have to do, they get paid while they're working on the job. And then they're tested by the plumbers union. And once they've reached enough knowledge, they then are a real plumber and get full wages. And then of course they can become advanced plumbers, and I don't know what that means. That means that they can stop using a straw to clean out toilet bowls, and they can use a plunger instead if they're, a master plumber. But the apprentices, they get a pretty good job. It's like $5 an hour and all you can eat. Or was that Roto-Rooter? That might have been Roto-Rooter. Anyway, my granddaughter's boyfriend is 19, or gonna be. He's gonna be, and he's been taking welding at college, and this year, but he wanted to be a plumber, and so I asked the guy, and he said, yeah, all he has to do is come in and apply for an apprenticeship. He'll get it. If not with us, he'll get it with somebody else. He said he can go into almost any plumber around there, all short-handed. Only the males. I think the lady plumbers just have to show cleavage. Man, this is going to take a while. Stupid people won't work for me. Since it's not a field yet, I can't even cheat it in because it doesn't recognize it as a field. I don't think. I haven't tried it, but I don't think that's the case. Thong tops. I didn't know they made thong tops. I thought they were just bottoms. I can't imagine walking around with some piece of string sticking up my ass. I don't know how you girls do that kind of stuff. A whale's tail? Poor Matt, he's laying around saying, what in the hell is going on here? What are you guys talking about? Oh, I forgot, I gotta get those stumps out. How do you get stumps out if you don't have one of those driving things? Will a chainsaw take a stump out? Some guy had a pair of corduroy pants. Do they make corduroy pants anymore? Back when I was in school, they had pants they called corduroy. And I don't know how to explain it. They had little ribs up and down. The material was made with little ribs, and when you walked, if your legs were too tight together, you could hear the corduroy as the little raised parts on the corduroy material would rub against each other and go whoosh, 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 whoosh. And some guy was walking really fast down the hallway. I said, you better slow down, you're going to start a fire, a brush fire. His thighs are rubbing together. They also came out with bell bottoms, and that was weird. Watching everybody was wearing bell bottoms to school. And what was really weird is with just regular shoes on, they had saddle shoes. Anybody remember what saddle shoes are? I never had saddle shoes. That was too much. I did have a pair of wingtips. Those are dress shoes, but I never had saddle shoes. Saddle shoes were weird. They were like 3 different colors, and they looked kind of Nancy boy, if you know what that means. Where'd that stump come from? Huh. Let me in, let me in. Bobby's in the house. Mr. Clippy. There's the rest of the stumps. I knew they were around here somewhere. Oh, I miss Stumpy. Every time I think of stumps, I think of Stumpy. Mila bit the shit out of me the other night. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Right there. You see that big red mark right there? She bit the shit out of me. She was just sitting in my lap, quiet as can be. Nothing was going on. I was wearing my headphones, so it wasn't any loud noises or anything going on in here. And I wasn't moving around. I was just sitting here with my controller, punching buttons. For no reason, she just reaches over and just sinks her teeth in me. What the? Of course, I kicked her out of the room. She got sad and was out there scratching at the doors. Get away, you bum. Bite me. Talk about biting on one that feeds you. Uh-oh, Carol's home. So I guess the Miata made it. She didn't wreck it. Of course, I don't know that. She might have wrecked it. Oh! What did I just do? I shouldn't have looked at the camera. Dang it. I'm messing up my field. I love bite my ass. It broke skin. I took some hydrogen peroxide and some Neosporin, rubbed into it, cleaned it up, and it's been over 12 years since I had a tetanus shot. Last time I had a tetanus shot, I was working for the post office and I got bit by a Rottweiler, a big mother trucker, and left a hell of a scar. I had to go in the doctor and get that stitched up. But that was, I've been retired 12 years, so it was probably about maybe 15 years ago that I got bit by a stupid Rottweiler. I didn't blame the dog. I blamed the owner, but I didn't blame the dog. The dog was just protecting himself. I went to deliver a package, and I knocked on the door, and it was summertime, so the door was open. And there was a screen door, and I just knocked on the door. Now the screen door didn't close all the way, so when I knocked on it, it went bang, bang, bang a little bit, so it was pretty loud. And then I stepped back, and all of a sudden the screen door just come flying at me with a dog behind it, a huge Rottweiler, and it was going for my throat. And I threw my hand up like this in front of my throat, and he got me. Just tore the hell out of my arm. I had to call somebody and come over and take over my office so I could go to the doctor. I had a little gal that worked for me that would work if I needed time off, because I wasn't allowed to take any time off. I had lots of time coming. But you can't leave. You have to have somebody run your office. And the post office is quasi-military. That means if I didn't come to my post, I'm considered AWOL, and bad things happen. So I had to come to work on a day that we had hurricane force winds. And there's a 5-mile bridge between the state I live in and the state my post office was in. So I had to drive about 30 miles to work, but 5 of it was on that bridge. And that bridge, it goes clear across the mouth of the Columbia. It looks like the Golden Gate Bridge. and it's really high at one point because the big ships have to come underneath to get up the river. So it's not one of those bridges that raises up and down. It just goes up that high, and then for a while that a big ship can come through and then back down to water level and continues on. The wind was blowing things off of that bridge that day, and I still had to be there because if I didn't go, I'd have been considered AWOL. And like I said, bad things happen. And so there's a bunch of procedures you have to go through. Like if there's going to be a tsunami hit, I can't leave the post office until I have to do these procedures. One of the procedures is they don't care about the money. It's the mail. I had to collect as much mail as I could and get it to safety. And before the tsunami hit, I said, no freaking way, I'm out of here. Thank God I never had to go through a tsunami. But it's a trick question they ask you. What's the first thing you do if you get a tsunami warning? Well, you lock the doors, turn out the lights, and you run like hell. If you say that, you just failed. The first thing you do is collect every bit of mail that you can. They're talking about, if you've ever been in a post office, a lot of people get their mail at the post office. They have a mailbox, a postal box that they pay for, and you open a key or a combination, you get your mail, and you go home. So there's somebody back there putting mail in every day when it comes. Okay, some people pick up the mail. Those that didn't, you're supposed to be taking that mail out of them and protecting it and taking it so it's protected. Believe it or not. You better hope you got lots of warning for a tsunami. Anyway, I made it over. I don't know how. I made it over. At one point, the wind was blowing so hard that my pickup truck, the tires were squealing as the wind was pushing me to the side of the road and gonna push me off the bridge. And the tires were just squealing like hell because I was barely moving. I wasn't gonna drive no 50 miles an hour in a 100-mile-an-hour wind. So I was going as slow as I could to try to keep traction. You could hear my tires squealing as it was pushing me across the bridge. It scared the hell out of me. And I got over here. All the power was out, so I couldn't open. You can't open if there's no power. So I didn't have telephone. So I just I documented what time it was, what the situation was, put it on my desk, and drove home. And I figured it's easier to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. And so there, I made it through that day, barely. Probably. Once AWOL, always AWOL. Yeah, most people don't realize the sanctity of, a federal job like that. I've got 3 plaques on the wall because I was postmaster in 3 different offices, and a post office is appointed by the President of the United States. It's a post that's appointed by the Postmaster General, who's in charge of the nation's postal service. He answers directly to the President. So that oath that the President takes when he's elected, I had to take that very same oath. The only difference is there's a small little clause at the bottom that I will protect the sanctity of the mail. So that's where that comes from, where I have to protect the mail, regardless of what the circumstances are. My job is to protect it. But I took the same oath as the president takes. You get a title. I was the Honorable Rudy St. John. And it's a post. And that's why when people say postmaster, they think that's sexual. That's gender specific. It's not. You are the master of the post. It doesn't have anything to do with whether you're a man or a woman. So these people that say, "Oh, we have a postmistress," no, you don't. You have a postmaster, because that person is the master of the post. I had a female boss once that told me, well, didn't tell me. She told everybody that would say it. Somebody would come and say, "Is our postmistress in today?" She would walk up with this look in her eye, and she would stare at them and say, "I am the postmaster. I am no one's mistress." And she said it just like that. She really got pissed when people called her the postmistress. It was hilarious. And she was a little short gal, about as round as she was tall, and she looked like Danny DeVito. And she was the sweetest thing, really. She really was. Many, many times when we had too many hours, there would go by. We would work 6 days a week, and when you work 6 days a week, guess what you do on your day off? You wash clothes, do dishes, clean house, do your laundry, change sheets, go buy groceries for the week, make sure your clothes are clean for the next week, which is tomorrow. I mean, literally, you never got a day off when you work 6 days a week. But she was real big on, look, you've been working, a month straight now without any time off. Let me work a day for you. So, because we had to come in on weekends. And so she said, "I'll come in this weekend and work for you so you can have a weekend off." She was a sweetheart. But, yeah, I'm nobody's mistress. That was hilarious. It made me laugh. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Well, there's quite a few of us that actually took our jobs, seriously. I did. I was one of them. I took my job very seriously. When you're postmaster, the thing I liked about it was when I got to work in the morning and I walked to the back door and put my key in the lock and punched the security buttons and opened up the door, I had a big ass smile on my face because this was my office. There was nobody there to tell me what to do. I had a boss, the district postmaster, but if you do a good enough job, you never see them. They got many post offices that have a lot of trouble. And they're in charge of that. And as a matter of fact, I would say that at my annual review. I would tell them, my job is to do the best job I can do so you don't have to worry about my office, because I know you've got many other things to worry about. And every single one of them would say, "Yeah, we appreciate that, Rudy. We really do." I never heard from my boss, ever, unless it was good news. But the thing is, these people that complain about the post office because, they sent my parcel back just because it had the wrong address on it, or they sent my parcel back because they misspelled something, or I can't imagine that. There's no friggin' way. Your parcel could come back with any little thing that would indicate, who it was for, and you'd get it in my office. I didn't pull any of that. Well, it doesn't have the legal address on it. That's BS. And that's up to the postmaster. You have complete control over your office. You have to follow the rules, but the rules aren't that bad. I mean, literally, I couldn't mail something that's illegal, and there are issues with that. Certain things are illegal, like you can't ship anything flammable. You can't ship anything that's explosive. So I could send empty cartridges of brass cartridges for reloads, but I couldn't send a loaded piece of bullets and stuff like that. It's illegal. Alcohol, shipping alcohol because it's flammable. Now, that regulation people don't understand is because, I think I explained it to Scorpion one time. When the post office first started, we had the only airline in the nation. They weren't hauling people around in airplanes. The only thing that got hauled around was the mail. Because the federal government was the only one who could afford a fleet of airplanes. And so the post office had a whole fleet of airplanes. Well, at some point, they wanted to have private companies, fly people around, And so, but there was nobody around that had enough money to buy a fleet of airplanes. So what the post office did is they said, we will help you start your airline business. We'll give you the money, or not give. We'll get you the money to start your airline, but you have to haul the mail. That's our deal. So we'll give up our airplanes for airplanes that'll haul people, but we still need to have you haul the mail for us. And so that's how airlines got started. And that's why the post office doesn't have its own airline, because we gave it up so that private businesses could provide air service. Well, what that means is, since we don't own the plane, we have to go by the airline's rules. And if you got people on an airplane and firearms or dynamite or things that are going to, burn up, and they're not going to allow that. So that's why we can't haul that kind of stuff. And that's why FedEx can. FedEx and UPS can haul anything they want. They own their own planes. So, but the post office can't. That's why at one point they were making people taking batteries out of their cell phones because the batteries are explosive, and we couldn't let them on the plane. Oh, there's plenty of white powder that was mailed. It doesn't explode. Yeah, you have no idea. I used to have people tell me, well, what's the big deal? All you do is sell stamps all day. I said, are you kidding? There's some real heavy work. You got all those parcels that come and go. Guess who's handling those? Guess who's picking them up, putting them on the scales, weighing them up, putting postage on them, stacking them in the back, deliver them to the door. Every day. And the mail comes in big boxes and bags, and you're having to dump those out on a table and sort them. That's a lot of work. You're doing a lot of dumping of bags and picking up parcels and putting them over your head and doing all kind of stuff. It's hard work. It's a lot of work. And, it's not. Here's the other thing. I used to have conversations with people. I had a friend, he worked at Fred Meyer's, and he's complaining about the customers that he has to put up with. And then some other person's working at some restaurant, and she's complaining about the customers they have to put up with and the crappy stuff that people say to them. And I said, I don't want to hear any of that. What? And they'd all look at me. I said, I don't care what happens to you. You don't work at the post office. At the post office, we don't have just Fred Meyer customers. We don't have just restaurant customers, your restaurant customers. We have every single person in the nation, and they all bitch. So I don't want to hear about bitchy people. They just looked at me. But it's true. Everybody has to deal with the post office at some point. And they're all not very nice. So yeah, I said we have to deal with all the assholes. Everybody's got one, and the post office deals with every single one of them. That's funny. We went to the college one time. It was me, my ex-boss, that little gal I was telling you about. I was postmaster by now. It was me, a couple other postmasters, and a couple of carriers. We had, I don't know, we had a dozen people. We all took a course in firearm safety because we were all getting concealed permits to conceal weapons. It was funny when we got into the class, and we filled up about half the class. And when somebody said something in passing before class started, and they said, where do you work? And I said, oh, I'm a postmaster. What? And then I said, yeah, we all are. And they looked at us like, oh my God, they're going to draw down right here. Because there's this bad thing about going postal. You know, I don't know where in the hell that started, but it was like the post office don't get them angry. They'll draw on you. But here we are all getting permits to carry. It was hilarious. People their chairs, you could hear chairs scraping against the floor as they backed away. It was hilarious. They're going to go postal. Silver Tiger, how you doing? You're preparing to? Hey, how come Matt? Where's Matt at? Matt let me work overtime here. What? I can't believe it. It's Thursday, guys. All right, I gotta go. But before I do, let me jump out and show you what we're doing, because I'm going to keep working on this weekend and get this field ready to go. But look how big this friggin' field is. Holy smokes. This thing is huge. You should have been here when I took all the trees out. I got lost in here, and that's why I took a plow and plowed the boundary. Because that way I knew that I was within the field and I wasn't taking the neighbor's trees out. Anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and finish this over the weekend. When we come back, we should have some harvesting close to being ready. All of these are all ready to go. They're all double fertilized, I think. There's 100%. We got barley. What did I put here? Corn, barley. We got sorghum, and then we got potatoes and sugar beets, and then I'll start some factories going. So that's what we got to look forward to next week, getting some factories going. I want to finish that field, and then I have to decide what the hell I'm going to plant on it. I don't know, maybe barley. I use a lot of barley because I've got the whiskey and the vodka. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun. Hope to see you next time. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Have a good weekend. Lori, I hope you don't get snow. If Scorpion gets snow, they deserve it. Texas. And I'll see you guys next week. Ta-ta for now.